Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today, by request, we're doing 2002's City of God. Like I said, this is a request that we've gotten quite a few times to do.
Yes.
And we said, cool. I've never seen this movie. I don't think you have either.
No.
So this was my first time watching it, and I'm not going to lie. I did not go in with high hopes of a good movie. As soon as I saw subtitles, I was like, God damn. But this movie shocked the shit out of me in more ways than one. So.
Yeah, man, this movie was really good. I actually had a lot more hope for it just because of our last experience, which was Fresh.
Yes.
With a movie we hadn't seen that was requested. I said I was never not going to trust. That's how you drop a double negative, by the way. I was never not going to trust our viewers again. And I stuck to that, man. I trusted you guys, and it came through.
Yep. And you know what? I'm going to have to learn from you because I'm going to have to trust the requests a little bit more because I was really pleased with this movie, as disturbing as it was. So.
Oh, yeah. Here's what I want to know. And this is, you have to let us know in the comments, please. We got this request after we reviewed Boys in the Hood. What the fuck related one to the other that made you guys go, damn, they would bang City of God right the fuck out. Well, those two things are not alike.
No, they are not. One of these things is not like the other. And the only thing I could think of, because I do remember that that's when the request came out, and the only thing that I thought was, oh my God, they saw us review Boys in the Hood, and they're like, oh, you think that's a gangster movie? Here's a real gangster movie. Review this one. That's the only thing that kept going through my head during this. But let's get into the cast and everybody in this movie. And I apologize ahead of time if I crucify all these names. But this film.
I am so happy that you're the name guy on this show. And I'm just going to sit back like, wow, you butchered those, bro. Because it makes life so much easier just to answer comments.
At least I have some ethnicity, so I can take a good stab at these. So,
oh, yeah. Could you imagine these names coming out of this white-ass mouth? Oh, shit, would we be in trouble.
So this film, City of God, stars Alexandre Rodrigues as Rocket, Leonardo Firmino as Lil Zee, Phellipe Haagensen as Benny, Seu Jorge as Knockout Ned, Matheus Nachteraele as Carrot, and Alice Braga as ANGÉLICA. This film takes place basically over the course of 2 decades. City of God is the story of this lower class city that's west of Rio de Janeiro and is basically the polar opposite of Rio de Janeiro. And
yeah, like when you say lower class, I think you almost do it a bit of a disservice. It's the lowest class.
Yes, absolutely.
Like these motherfuckers are living in like sub-Saharan African villages that you see in fucking shitty movies. Like this is bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And the film is told and narrated by the viewpoint of Rocket and is based on a real story.
Great character, by the way. I know it's a real story, but for the point of a movie, he's a great character.
No, it absolutely is, and he is. And we also know that real stories have some embellishments when the movie's made. So
dude, wait till you hear my autobiography. My autobiography will have me like leaping over entire buildings to save kittens from trees and shit. I am going to be the biggest hero in the world that has been shunned by humanity.
Yeah, mine is just going to be an exaggeration of how drunk I always am. That's
and as we know from Above the Rim, Nate Dogg will be reading the audiobook for you.
Yes, absolutely he will.
Hold up. Hey.
So this movie begins with chickens being prepared for a meal. One of the chickens gets away. Dudes are chasing after it. They bump into Rocket, the little gang does, who Rocket at this point thinks that the gang wants to kill him. The movie then flashes back, I think, 10 years earlier into like the 60s. It's quite a few years back to tell the story of how he got himself into that position. And his brother was part of the Tender Trio. They're basically an amateur gang. They're sticking up local, the guy, I guess, delivering gas to people.
Yeah, they're knocking off propane tank trucks and this little basic bitch shit. And they get the idea, if I remember correctly, to go rob the hotel.
Yes, and Little Dice is who later becomes Lil Zee, the young kid who hangs out with the trio. He convinces them to hold up the motel and rob it.
Hi kids, Uncle Corey here. If you have a gang and your mastermind is an 8-year-old kid, dissolve the gang. Break it up, it's over, go on your own separate ways, because you're going to end up dead or in fucking jail.
Yes.
You don't have the ability to operate or function as a good gang. So just let it go. Or join somewhere else. Have a merger. Make that shit Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Just merge with another gang who has a smarter person than an 8-year-old.
Well, and Lil Zee, or Little Dice as he's called here, he's basically like fresh almost in the sense that he's 8 and he's devising this plan like, hey, I've scoped out this entire town. You know where they hang out? They go to this brothel over here in the motel and they have cash on them, obviously. I think we should go rob that place on this night. He's already got his brain 50 steps ahead of everybody else. But again, like you said, when you're leader now, when he comes up with the plan and they're like, damn, that's not a bad plan. Like, that's a pretty good plan. Your life of crime is over. Just stop. Just retire. Let the 8-year-old get his 8-year-old friends into some real gangster shit as he does later on. And just remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah, man. This little motherfucker ends up being a complete psychopath. And just rubs out everybody. Like, these guys, and this is also how you know you're not really a gangster, is because these guys are robbing everybody in this place, and they have zero desire to actually use the guns they are holding. Little Zee, Little Dice, he ain't like that. This little motherfucker's a psychopath. And you have to know right away, because they're robbing everybody. You hear the glass break, which was the signal that the cops were coming. And then you flash through the hotel after they've left, and everybody's dead. Dude, this looks like fucking Saw. Like, everybody is dead.
And at first, you're looking through it, and it's like, wait, they didn't kill anybody. They just robbed these guys and left. Everybody's dead. And that leaves only one of two suspects here. Either the police came and did it to frame them, or it was that little motherfucker. And it turns out it was him. And the scene where they show him walking through the motel and just shooting everybody and laughing his ass off.
He's stone cold.
It's
killer.
It's fucking crazy. But Goose, Rocket's brother here, is killed by Lil Dice after robbing him and Benny, who have been doing their own little gangster shit, and they're hiding out, and they're,
And this was the smartest thing, really, of what Lil Dice did here with Benny, which is they just never went back.
Yes.
They said, fuck it. And when they did, they stayed on the outskirts. They hid. They didn't really socialize with anybody because he wasn't taking any chances.
No.
Dude, that's the scariest thing about psychopaths is when you cut out a lot of that emotion, they're fucking smart.
Oh, absolutely.
They're so smart. And that's what's scary.
Yep. And the movie here then fast forwards around 10 years or so. Lil Dice now calls himself Lil Zee, and he and Benny now, they've established themselves as like this little drug empire in the city of God by going through and basically does the same thing he did in the motel, except with real gangsters. He's not just shooting, hotel employees. He's going through and systematically killing all the drug pins in the city so he can control all of it, except for one dealer named Carrot.
Yes.
And
why would you keep him alive? That's the one thing I didn't understand. If you're taking over the territory, take it the fuck over.
Yeah, the only reason, and again, at the very beginning of this, I don't know why, but throughout, Benny basically keeps Carrot alive throughout this whole thing.
Yes, that's very true. That is true. And I love Benny's character so much. He's my favorite character in this movie.
Such a good character. Him and Rocket are my two favorite characters in this movie. And
yes, if Armando was ever a character in a movie, it was probably Benny. Because when we were younger, we would go out to bars and shit and clubs, and when your boy got drunk, he didn't care who he fucked with. And Armando playing Benny would always be chirping in my ear, "You don't want to do that shit. You don't want to do that shit, bro." Always pulling you away from fucking up. Constantly.
I even did the...
I'm glad we found your movie doppelganger. Yeah, your hair is very different.
I was going to say, I even did the blonde tips there for a minute. But that was cool back then. Ain't so cool anymore. But, it is what it is. Meanwhile, Rocket has become part of the Groovies, which is a hippie group of kids. They just go to the beach, smoke pot, yada, yada.
I would be hanging out with the Groovies. Like, you would be Benny. I would be with the Groovies just chilling the fuck out, in case that's not painfully obvious.
Yes, absolutely. This is where he starts his photography career, shooting pictures of his friends, especially of Angelica, who he has a huge crush on, but she's dating Tiago, the other dude. So he can't really get any play there. He tries to weasel his way in. He finally does. And then, nothing ever really happens outside of some kissing and stuff.
Yeah, and the whole system here of life is so fascinating to me. And maybe that's because you have real world shit you're dealing with when you're their age.
Yeah.
But, when we were their age, a girl that looked like Alice Braga did in this movie, dating one dude and then dating another guy, and the two guys are just like, "Hey, bro, how's it going? Cool." Oh, he got into coke a little bit after that breakup, but it's all good. Hey, buddy. And then she meets Benny later, and Benny and Rocket and her are just all friends, but not in the weird way. Everybody's just chill as fuck when it comes to dating this lady, and I mean, good for her and good for all of them. I just that's a different world than I grew up in.
That's you and me both. That was the one thing that actually surprised me. I'm like, oh, somebody's gonna get stabbed in the back here. Somebody's gonna get a little salty. Somebody's gonna get shot. But everybody's cool with it throughout the whole movie, and they're just like, it's chill. Well, and I guess in other countries they're a little less frigid about relationships, and they're like, yeah, of course, we're in a small town, of course I'm gonna date her and you're gonna date her, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah, there just was really no the only jealousy in this whole movie came from the complete psychopath being Lil Zee.
Yeah.
I mean, even I grew up in basically a bag of Wonder Bread. And I got fucking hit multiple times because girls just like you.
Yeah.
So that was very shocking. Everybody was just like, yeah, it's cool. Here's a camera.
Yep. And then Benny, like we said, becomes the coolest gangster in the city. Everyone loves him. Everybody wants to be around him. He's just one of those dudes. And here's another thing. Everybody's got that one guy in the crew that no matter where you are, who you're hanging around with, what parties you go to, he's accepted everywhere. Everybody likes him. Everybody wants to be around him. He's just a good time. There's never any drama. It's always just like, hey, I'm good time Charlie, man. And everybody wants to be around you. And Benny the actor playing Benny plays this perfectly. Like,
oh yeah, dude, he's great, and you hit the nail on the head. He is that guy. He's MasterCard. He's accepted everywhere.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Some of us in this world are Diners Club cards, and some of us are MasterCards.
Yes,
Benny's MasterCard.
I might be a Discover. I'm accepted at a few places, but not everywhere. Benny's then gunned down at a party by Blackie, who is actually aiming for Lil Zee. He misses, hits Benny, and kills him. You
learn very quickly, especially at this point, that the whole revenge game, it just doesn't work.
Yes.
Like, the whole, those who seek revenge should dig 2 graves, and those looking for blood find it, and all that shit, that all rings true in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm not even going to give a PSA on it because, frankly, I'm a revenge-seeking motherfucker. I don't care if I go down. If you wrong me, I will wait in the cut for years to get you back.
Corey plays the long game, everybody. Just to let you know. Benny was the only one keeping Lil Zee from taking over Carrot's business. So now Carrot's screwed. And Carrot knows because when Blackie goes to his place and is like, hey, I fucked up, he's like, you're goddamn right you did. So he shoots him right there. There's nothing for him. He's like, yeah, you're screwed. And now I'm screwed. Thanks, douche.
Yeah, so this is what comes from not running a tight ship.
Yes.
Like your lieutenants should not be running off doing their own little side projects. Like, the greater good in the drug game needs to be the drug game, and everybody has to be on the same page. And the second that branch starts to grow a little bit, you fucked.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You can have a full-time job and have a YouTube channel as a side hustle, but once you port that over into organized crime, you can't really have a side hustle. You're either all in or you're all out.
Yeah, and if my parents are watching, you actually can't have a full-time job and a YouTube channel. You really can only just do YouTube. So, Sorry, Mom and Dad. This is my job.
Wah, tear. Lil Zee then attacks Knockout Ned because apparently he likes his girlfriend, Knockout Ned, by the way, which is a great name. Like, that's one of the best names in the movie. Outside of, Rocket. Rocket's a great name. But he thinks Knockout Ned is like too pretty and he's into his girlfriend and he thinks I'm ugly, tear. So they attack him, hold him down while he rapes his girlfriend and then kills Ned's uncle. He kills his younger brother. And this is where the whole movie flips and turns.
Yeah, and Ned is one of the most difficult characters to get a beat on.
Yes.
Because he seems like he's just that dude kind of talking shit when you first meet him. You know what I mean? Like, I was the best strut in my battalion. I'm a marksman. I know karate. I'm this good looking. Blah, blah. Like, he just seems like one of those guys that it's like, okay, yep, you're all that guy. Can we just stop the conversation for 5 minutes about you? And then he kind of turns that, and then you're like, oh, dude, Ned's kind of a badass.
Yes.
Like, when he gets pissed, he's on his game.
Yeah.
But then again, at the end, it's like, is he, though? Like, I have a lot of questions about Ned as we go through the rest of the movie.
No, absolutely, because here he turns and sides with Carrot. And he's got all these rules. I don't want to kill innocent people, and I don't want to rob anybody and hurt anybody, and yada yada. And then as you see, you make one concession, and then you make another concession, and then before you know it, apparently you're in a full blown fucking Vietnam War in your hometown.
Yeah, dude, this is like, I know, and I'm not disrespecting anybody or anything like that, but you read about gang wars and you hear about gang wars and you've seen gang wars on TV. Dude, this is a fucking war.
Yes.
I mean, the streets are flooded with urban combat. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's nuts. I believe what I was seeing here. In Vietnam, there really is, the perfect analogy. This is fucking craziness.
Yeah, and
They're just
Rocket...
in a jungle instead of an actual jungle.
Yeah, and Rocket makes reference to Vietnam a couple of times during this whole narration that he's doing.
Yeah,
And
there's that shootout at the end. And I know I'm skipping forward a little bit, but there's that shootout at the end. And when Rocket's taking all the pictures when he's hiding behind that concrete barrier,
yes,
I kept thinking, like, dude, you're a fucking war photographer at this point.
That's literally the first thing that went through my mind is, wow, I know this is kind of based on a real story. I'm assuming if later on in life they're like, hey, we're going to send you to fucking, I don't know, Afghanistan, just to use a war area.
So,
like, we're going to send you over there. And he's like, oh, that's like a weekend getaway for me. Did you see the shit I was shooting when I was 18? He's 18, 19 years old. He's literally in the middle of a war zone, taking shots and running down the street. I finally realized why they call him Rocket, because that dude is sprinting down the street. I was like, holy shit, he should have been in the 200 meter. Like,
I tell you, the end of the real story is his name is Rocket Ishmael, and he plays college football for Notre Dame.
But what I found funny is during all of this, they go to war. Knockout Ned gets arrested. He's in the papers. The cops are starting to, it's in the media, so the cops are getting more interested in actually putting the kibosh and all this shit because they didn't care before. And Lil Zee gets jealous of Ned's notoriety because his picture's in the paper, and he's like, well, my picture's in the paper. Hey, go get that kid that basically I got Benny killed over for the camera, and let him use the camera because apparently nobody knows how to work a camera. So
yeah, there's a couple PSAs we got to do here. I guess we'll start with the easiest one. Hi kids, Uncle Corey here. If you're fucking with a big crew and you're depending on them, like your life depends on them to win a war, fuck with the guys that can work a camera. That's like the bare minimum basic shit you can do is work a camera. And if they can't do that, kick them the fuck. Let them go to the other side. You don't need that shit, bro. PSA number 2. Hi, kids. Uncle Corey again. If your gang leader is a narcissist to the point where they want to be in the newspaper, see what I said about your crew not being able to operate a camera. Cut fucking bait and run, because that motherfucker's going to get you killed or in fucking jail.
Yes, exactly.
That's insane. Fuck that narcissism shit, dude. I want that low-key dude constantly wearing sunglasses. Don't fucking take pictures of me. You don't need to be writing shit down.
Yeah.
I don't talk on the phone. I'm one of those old school dude. Like, I want you in low fucking heat.
Absolutely, 100%. And we've learned time and time and time again, the minute your face is in the paper, you're in magazines, your face is plastered online, you're gonna get caught eventually. Like, and if you're standing next to him holding the freaking AK, you're going to jail too, or you're gonna die because now people know what you look like.
Finally, I think we got to do one more just to round this out with a nice 3. Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. If you're in a gang war and you can't handle the age of people being shot, get out of said fucking war. Because when you stop and you're shocked and appalled by what you're seeing is a dead body, dude, what did you think you were going to see?
Yes.
It's a gang war.
And
that's during Ned shot. If he just kept going, he wouldn't get shot. By the way, it's also what gets Ned fucking dead.
Yes, and I was literally just gonna say, you want to talk about a good twist that I wasn't expecting at all? Was this twist where Ned's standing over the body, he gets shot by some nameless, faceless person in the distance, and then the kid gets shot. Ned goes to him. Oh, I'll come back for you. Lil Zee's over there. We got to go kill him. And then as soon as he turns, the kid, boom, they do the flashback to Ned killing his dad, and he was there to see it. You got a great, flip to the whole thing. That was...
Oh, totally.
This is where it flashes back to Rocket at the very beginning of the movie, with the camera in the street. This is right before the whole big war breaks off, and he's shooting the pictures, and he doesn't realize that Lil Zee actually wanted him to take the picture, and like that whole payoff. And again, the way the movie was laid out with that beginning, and I know a lot of movies do that, start with the end and then you'll get to it. You know, that was great how they did it here.
Oh, dude, we glossed over it because there's so much to unpack, and again, it wraps back around.
Yeah.
As far as opening scenes to a movie go, seeing that where the kid he's being yelled at by a group of people shouting at him with guns to get the fucking chicken. And then on one side is that gang, and on the other side is a group of cops all pointing fucking guns at each other.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what's happening because all you're trying to do is catch a fucking chicken.
Yes.
What a setup. The
it's a great setup.
Immediately is just like, Jesus Christ, what are we in for?
Yep.
It's a fantastic setup.
And after this, before he can get the chicken, the gunfight starts between the two gangs. Ned is killed here by the kid, and then they arrest Carrot and Lil Zee. And they take Carrot and they say, hey, you're going to go to the media. You're the present for the media. And then they take Lil Zee back behind some freaking back alley. And this is where you get Rocket running through the streets and the alleys trying to catch so he can get the shots of all of it. And he gets the shots of Lil Zee basically being shaken down for cash by the cops and then let go. Yes. And then after the cops leave here, the runts, the little kid gang, they come up on Lil Zee, shoot and kill him. We'll call it, quote unquote, taking over his business because they're 10 years old.
These kids literally went from the set of City of God to the set of fucking Hostel. Because, oh my God, dude. Little kid, seriously, we bag on little kids in movies all the time. First off, these kids are amazing.
Yes.
And two, they're terrifying. Little kids as just that kind of psychopathic killer, especially when they're walking away and discussing their blacklist and all the people they're going to kill and all the people they want to kill and the reasons why they want to kill them.
Yeah.
How is there anybody left in the city?
When they walk away, they name at least 15, 16 people that are on their blacklist. I'm like, I think there's only 18 people in the town left. Like this, they're going into like Lord of the Flies territory where it's just going to be them or like Children of the Corn. It's just them and no adults. Like that's where we're going with this.
And Lil Zee getting dusted the way he did reminded me a lot of how Omar went down in The Wire.
Yes, absolutely.
Just that little kid, unsuspecting, not really. They're too young and stupid to understand the fear behind what they're about to do or who they're about to do it to.
Yeah. Rocket here gets all the shots. He gets the shots of the bribery. He gets the shots of the kids shooting Zee. He gets the shots of Zee's dead body in the alley after the kids leave. And he goes to the newspaper with it. And Rocket is seen in the newspaper office looking at all his photographs through the magnifying glass, deciding whether or not to put the pictures of the crooked cops in the newspaper or the pictures of Zee's dead body. Photos of the cops would make him famous, but put him in danger. And the photos of Zee would guarantee him a job at the paper, which at the end gives the paper the picture of Zee's body, which runs on the front page. And then the story ends with that's when the runts are walking away, making the hit list of all the dealers they plan to kill, taking over their drug business and yada yada. I'll say this. I know at the beginning of this, I said that I didn't expect a lot out of this movie because I'd never seen it. And then once I saw subtitles, I was like, ooh, I've run into so many movies with subtitles that I've come away like I couldn't pay attention to the movie because my face is at the bottom of the screen reading. And let's just go ahead and say I'm a slow reader. You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the bunch. So subtitles, I'm confused with your technology and I don't understand words and things.
Your world frightens and confuses me.
This movie with subtitles, I was bought in almost immediately, and I was completely bought in for the rest of the movie. This movie was incredible. It was shot well. Yes. The pace of this movie was awesome. It was 2 hours. It felt like an hour 20. And
totally.
It just, the way it was paced out, the way it was, and it jumps around a lot, but it wasn't hard to follow. And
no, they keep the same central characters.
Yeah, exactly. And I really, really love this movie. So much so, there's been movies that we've reviewed in the past that I was like, I couldn't even follow it. It was so confusing. And they're speaking my language. And I couldn't follow the goddamn movie. Everything they did, and it was just, at first, I was like, it's one of these gritty, like old 70s looking. It added so much to the film that it was shot the way it was shot. And beginning to end, I love this movie.
Yeah, man, there's really nothing about this movie that I want to make fun of. I mean, it's a good movie. We always talk about the fat. There is no fat on this movie. It's well paced. It's beautifully shot. One of the things you and I talked about before we started recording, I was so happy with the lack of rape. Typically in these movies, there's constant rape, whether it's men raping women, men raping men raping kids, whatever. It's fucking, it's saturated. And there is a rape scene, but it's done, in my opinion, the way all rape scenes should be done, which is you hear it. If you want to think about it, you can, but you don't really have to fucking watch it.
And it was quick. It was.
You get what's happening very quickly.
Exactly. It was shot very old school. Like scenes like that back in the day. That's how those scenes were shot. They left, as fucked up as it sounds, they left a lot to the imagination when it came to stuff like that. It was, you knew it was happening, you knew it was going on, but they're not going to be like, yeah, let's jam it in your face. And I appreciated that too.
Exactly. Like if this was directed by Eli Roth, like Jesus, half the movie would be sent with fucking torn shirts and titties hanging out. So
exactly.
I appreciate exactly what they did here with it. And it did make it more shocking when it did happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing that ever made me laugh in this movie that wasn't intended to be comedy was Ned the whole time talking about him being the best marksman in his battalion. And when they come out at the final raid and he pulls his rifle out, he shoots the guy next to Lil Zee. You ain't that fucking good, bro, or your battalion was dog shit. Like,
I did notice that too.
I mean, if you're going to brag about your marksmanship, fucking be a marksman, because we all saw how bad you really were. It's not good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was literally the only thing that made me laugh, was just like, this motherfucker ain't shit. But I love the movie. I thought it was so good. I will definitely watch it again. Probably not anytime soon, because I needed to shower after I watched it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a good movie. It seems to me that it's sold as like this shocking, like, oh my God, don't watch City of God, it'll fuck you up. And it's not like that. Like, you shouldn't be afraid to watch it.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of dirty movie. You know what I mean?
It's
honest about what life is.
Exactly.
In that area.
I was just gonna say that. It's gritty and honest, without overblowing things. Like, this is how it was. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I really liked about it. I liked that it was gritty and honest, and so, and it was shot that way, it was written that way, and I just, again, beginning to end, love it. it obviously still holds up. I mean, it only came out, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, but it still holds true to today. So that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
I have one other thing. As far as the requests go, I know what's about to happen here. I promise you, we are doing Blood In, Blood Out. We had to order the goddamn DVDs.
Because we can't find it anywhere?
Interwebs, because it does not exist. It has not been transmitted digitally yet.
Yes.
So we are getting to it. You don't have to request it. I promise you, the week those DVDs come in, we're doing that movie.
Yes.
So don't have to request it. I promise.
All right. Well, with that said, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2002's City of God.